All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely critical for anyone putting their hard-earned money into the market, and that is surviving a bear market. Look, when the market turns against you, the rules of the game completely change. We're going to unpack a concept simply called defense wins championships. We'll explore how the very best growth investors don't just survive these brutal downturns, but how they actively protect their wealth so they're fully set up to thrive when the dust finally settles.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. What is the ultimate goal of investing? Take a second and really think about it. If your immediate gut reaction is making as much money as possible, well, you're definitely not alone. But honestly, you might also be walking blindly into a trap. So many people jump into the market thinking success is literally just about finding the next massive skyrocketing stock.
But here's the reality check. The amateur goal is maximizing returns. The professional goal, preserving capital. The greatest investors out there understand one foundational truth. Before you can win big, you absolutely must avoid losing big. It's like a giant puzzle, and the most devastating mistake everyday investors make is treating a bear market exactly like a bull market. They just keep buying, hoping a stock suddenly surges, holding these massive positions, and expecting fast gains. But when the market actually enters a confirmed downtrend, your entire objective has to flip.
Here is our survival guide framework for today. 1. Winning by not losing. 2. Shrink your market exposure. 3. The stop-loss mandate. 4. The win-loss equation. And 5. The power of patience.
Section 1. Winning by not losing. The paradigm shift.
The legendary investor William O'Neill observed a pretty harsh reality about the markets. Roughly 3 out of every 4 stocks, so about 75%, will follow the direction of the general market. The crucial takeaway here is that it really doesn't matter how amazing a single company is. Even the strongest businesses out there, the ones with exceptional earnings and massive sales growth, they will inevitably drag you down when the big institutions start aggressively selling and the major indexes are under pressure. You just can't fight the tide.
Section 2. Shrink your market exposure. Tactical maneuvers.
In a healthy bull market, you might comfortably concentrate 15 to 25% of your capital right into your best ideas. You're riding high, feeling like a financial genius, right? But in a bear market, the professionals ruthlessly chop that down to a 5% maximum position size. In fact, they often limit their total market exposure to just 0 to 30% of their entire portfolio. While the amateurs keep stubbornly buying into failed breakouts, the pros are dramatically shrinking their footprint. And why? Because your probability of success just plummets in a downtrend.
Now, a lot of folks think diversification is their ultimate safety net when things go south. But consider this for a moment. Owning 12 weak stocks doesn't reduce your risk. It literally multiplies it. Let that sink in. When the overall market is just falling apart, owning a wider variety of falling assets does absolutely nothing to protect you. Honestly, it just gives you 12 different headaches to manage. In a confirmed downtrend, keeping things simple is actually your absolute biggest competitive advantage.
Okay, so how do we actually put this simplicity into practice? First, hold 0 to 3 small pilot positions, just tiny little test trades to feel out what the market is doing. Second, you only want to focus on stocks showing exceptional relative strength. That means they're actually holding up or even climbing while the rest of the market tanks. Third, stay completely away from lagging sectors. And finally, and I can't stress this enough, if no stock meets your strict criteria, just stay in cash.
Let's actually talk about that last point for a second, because cash is probably the most misunderstood asset in investing. A lot of people feel like if their money isn't fully in the market, they're somehow failing. But we really need to shift how we view doing nothing. Cash gives you flexibility. You aren't trapped inside sinking positions, agonizing over every single drop in price.
On top of that, cash gives you opportunity. Stepping aside and just letting the market throw its little tantrum means you have your dry powder fully ready to strike. You get to step in and participate aggressively when the market conditions actually improve.
Cash is a position. I really want you to lock this idea into your brain. Holding cash is not a passive failure. It's a highly active, totally empowering strategic choice. When institutional distribution gets heavy and the real big players are selling, fighting that trend is basically a fool's errand. Holding cash is simply how you respect the message the market is currently broadcasting.
Section 3. The stop-loss mandate. The math of survival.
All right, let's slow down here because this is arguably the most critical math lesson you will ever learn. Look at how brutally these numbers scale. If you lose 10% of your capital, you need an 11% gain just to get back to square one. Okay, not terrible. But if you let that loss slide down to 20%, suddenly you need a 25% gain just to break even. And if you stubbornly hold on to a position all the way down to a 50% loss, you literally need a 100% gain. You need your money to double just to get back to exactly where you started. That exponential compounding works against you so silently, and it is absolutely ruthless.
And that brutal math is exactly why William O'Neill's 7 to 8% stop-loss rule exists and why it's completely non-negotiable. Small losses, they're totally manageable, but large losses will devastate your portfolio. When a position hits your predetermined stop, you sell immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, and definitely not after you hear the next earnings call. Immediately. You never average down in a downtrend, meaning please don't buy more shares just because the price looks cheaper. And you never ever rely on hope. The market is the ultimate judge, and trust me, it does not care about your opinions, and it certainly doesn't care about your hope.
Section 4. The win-loss equation, asymmetry.
Positive risk-reward asymmetry is completely vital here. Let's say your average winning trade gets you a 20% gain, and your average losing trade is strictly capped at an 8% loss. With that kind of setup, you can literally be wrong half the time, just a basic 50% win rate, and you are still going to achieve incredible long-term results. But in a bear market, your winners get way smaller, the breakouts constantly fail, and volatility just spikes. Your edge basically evaporates, and that is exactly why capping those losses at 8% is a total lifesaver. Survival is the strategy, because keeping your losses tiny preserves whatever little positive asymmetry is actually left in a terrible market.
Section 5. The power of patience, the psychological game.
As growth investors, we naturally crave the action, right? We want to be out there finding the next massive market leader. But a downtrend means you have to completely rewire your brain. You have to stop asking, how much money can I make today? And instead, you need to ask yourself one very simple question. How much capital can I preserve? Recentering your mindset away from that greedy desire for action and towards the protective instinct of preservation is exactly what separates the long-term veterans from the folks who just wash out. Remember, history tells us over and over again that every major bull market begins right after a really painful correction that wipes out the speculation and punishes complacency.
So let's quickly summarize this definitive contrarian playbook we've been talking about today. When the trend turns down, reduce your position sizes, limit the number of stocks you actually own, ruthlessly enforce those stop losses, raise your cash positions, lower your expectations, and focus entirely on preservation instead of trying to predict the future. You do not get paid for hyperactive daily trading. You get paid for being right when the market conditions are actually in your favor.
And that brings us full circle right back to the core thesis of this explainer. Defense wins championships. It's really not just a sports cliche. It is the absolute law of the financial markets. The championships belong to the investors who protect their capital, who hunker down and survive the storm, and who keep both the cash and the emotional energy ready to act decisively when a genuine, real uptrend finally begins.
Which leaves us with this final, somewhat provocative thought. When the next bull market begins, are you still going to have the capital to play? Let that question deeply guide whatever portfolio move you make next. Protect your hard-earned money, respect the downtrend, and make sure you're actually still standing when the real opportunities come back around. Thanks so much for learning with me on this explainer. Stay disciplined out there, and I'll catch you next time.